Hello, everybody. If you may think you're in the wrong place, you're not. We do only have two people right at the moment.
At the moment, all three of us are on the stage.
You're in
One
the
of us is
right place.
backstage.
You are in the right place. You're in the right place. This is, in fact, the Holy Triad Football Podcast. Welcome, coming to you live from the blue state of New Jersey. To my west, as he always is.
Yeah, has there ever been an instance? Actually, I've definitely been to your east before because
I've been in Wisconsin. Oh,
you've been in Wisconsin. You've been in Wisconsin for a recording.
no, I don't think I've never recorded from Wisconsin.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I've always been to your west then, in all likelihood, or just to your south. Never to your east. Always in your heart.
Always in my heart.
Yep, I'm doing all right. I have to talk about Pitt football tonight at some point, so that's not the most fun thing to do. But rest of the slate is manageable. It stinks a little bit, but it's manageable. Some Big 12 hash to be settled.
That is when you know something crazy is going to happen, though, right?
Big 12 hash to be settled. Oh yeah, I bet that's what you're hoping for.
I was looking at some of the slates for the next couple of weeks. I don't think we have a good one until the week before
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the week before Thanksgiving looks pretty good. Though now I'm up in the air on if I want to go to the Gers game or not, or enjoy a whole slate of good games, a buffet, if you will.
Sure. You have been known to bail on a Gers late season matchup.
I have.
Twice.
It's happened. I've also.
I don't condone it. I think irregardless, you should be in attendance, which was definitely my policy that was upheld until this fall.
Irregardless, you're talking about a home Gers game or away Gers game?
I think from your standpoint, any Gers game.
Any Gers game. In any case, I should be there.
In any venue, yeah.
In any venue, I should be there. A Gers game is happening. Kent is there.
Yep.
That has not been the case for, I think, going back to 2017 was the last time I was at a Gers game in MRB. let me count it.
Riveting video.
2017. What? No.
That was the Party Barn year, so you were there for that. Barn.
So I skipped that, right?
Oh, you did skip it and watched? I can't remember.
I did skip it. Yeah, I haven't been to a Gers game since 2016. I don't.
Wow.
When I watched
you're missing out.
I watched that game by myself. Then I went into the bathroom because it started hailing. That was also my favorite story of Barb's comes from that. If nobody's heard it, it was very, very nice weather in 2016 in November. Very sunny, probably up around 65. It was warm. All afternoon while we were tailgating for a night game. But we knew it was November and snow was rolling in at night. So, the sun's going down. Everybody's getting ready, bundled up to go into the game. And Barb says, all right, I'm locking up the car, everybody. Everybody change. Everybody good? He goes, all right, I'm going to change now. And he'd been wearing a blue number 14 Hackenberg jersey all day long. And he goes in, no sleeves. So I'm thinking he's going in to put a jacket on or put on some layers. I see him disappear into the car, and he emerges in a white number 14 Hackenberg jersey. No sleeves, no nothing, and he's ready to go in. So it was my favorite Barb story of all time. Not maybe of all time. It's definitely a top 3 favorite Barb story.
Mount Rushmore.
It is definitely Mount Rushmore Barb story.
It's on the podium.
It did, in fact, hail that night. That night I got these President's Club seats. I think I got a pair of them, or very nice tickets. I scalped them and traded them for 4 regular tickets, which I was able to give to Dave. Dave didn't end up going to the game, I don't think, because it was cold. He left me by myself sitting up there, buzz wearing off, just drinking cold hot chocolate. I kept trying to buy hot chocolate, but it was not hot. Just sitting
Did you try and buy a microwave or something?
No, I did not. I ended up going. Andy and them didn't even go into the game. Andy was back at his frat house, and I had to walk through the snow, trudge through the snow another like 2 miles to get back to his frat house after I'd spent the whole third quarter in the bathroom with Manny Bowen's brother. Because that was the only place that was warm. I stood under the heater for like a half an hour deciding what to do. Walked back, got in the car, drove home in the snow. And he was like, where are you passed out at? I was like, I went home, dude. He's like, oh, I thought you were crashing here. He's like, where are you passed out? I can't find you. Huh?
Best laid plans.
Best laid plans. That was the last Rutgers game I was at, 2016. So it would seem, right? 2017.
Well, everybody's anticipating your return.
Yeah. 2020, no game. 2021 was not. It was at home. I skipped that last year, right? Yeah.
Sounds right. Yep.
Yeah, last year was the VAU game, the Vayer game. So, weather is still warm. It was 70 degrees, muggy today. Muggy yesterday, a little nicer today. Tomorrow should be nice, crisp, sunny day. Looking forward to some more autumn weather, but it's been pretty warm. We are headed into November now. Are you excited, Dan? Are you ready?
I'm ready for the hash to be settled. That's for sure.
Do you want to get do you want to get the Louisville recap out of the way right now?
Yeah, I can do that. It's fairly straightforward, and I couple that with my pro football team, who is the Steelers. Those that didn't know, it's amazing that I'm evaluating both teams scoring 10 points in a game and saying, you know what? Some of it was all right, though.
It wasn't actually that.
If they hadn't turned the ball over 4 times inside the 40-yard line, it was all right.
That's kind of like me evaluating freaking Clifford against Michigan when he went 44% and went through the ball 44%. It was tough. Well, I actually don't think he was that bad.
But at least they were positioned to have that impactful game. That's when you go against the likes of the Dolphins, who have been losing 3 in a row, despite getting their quarterback back. In this case of Louisville, that, as I chronicled last week, a total knuckleball team. You don't know what you're going to get, and you didn't exactly get a great outfit.
I bet against him this Saturday. Week. I got a bad number. I got a bad number
against the Wolford Wagon.
I took the Wolford Wagon at 4.5. I thought it was good. It bumped to 5.5.
It's coming down to 3 or something like that.
Yeah, it's 3.5, 3. So got a bad number.
People believing in the Ville. I don't know. I mean, who all knows? They could, Malik Cunningham could actually go off in that game. He certainly didn't against Pitt. They only managed to muster, 17 offensive points, and 7 of those came on a well-executed but ridiculous throwback pass. I don't know if it was running back to receiver to quarterback or quarterback to receiver back to quarterback, something to that effect. It worked out, and they got a big play out of that. But other than that, Pitt defense played all right. They've been playing all right for the majority, if not good, for the majority of the year. It's just it has some 2019 vibes for those that got to live through that, where it's like they're kind of in it. I would say certainly Pitt loses this weekend, they're out of it, but they're kind of in the mix. So if they win this weekend and then they get another win, but it's just the team just doesn't feel like they have it, even by winning the Coastal standards, which is not a high bar. So it's hard to, see the momentum built from last year's season kind of go by the wayside.
House money, though. As you said, you're playing with
house money for me, yeah, because realistically, what are they going to do? But when you have the opportunity to build on, like I said, in the offseason, you have, that could have been year 2, say, of a 10-year building block where you're just slowly raising your profile, because teams do it. Right. It's hard. It's very hard because you're playing with basically the same level of talent as a lot of other teams on your schedule. But hasn't worked out so far. I don't know. I mean, I'd be pretty floored if they end up winning the last 5 games at this point. And that's what they're going to have to do to get back to the championship game. And then there's going to be playing a Clemson team that, that's a segue now, since I'm kind of done with Pitt, into the rest of the recap. Clemson team that played, pretty strong defensively, except for the bizarre Wake Forest game where they just got absolutely, toasted or beat over and over again. They had to pull it out of the fire against the Qs in a weird game. I think they probably didn't deserve to win that game. That being said, their defense still played well enough, holding Syracuse to 250 yards. So it's like, okay, well, they didn't completely steal it.
Did you watch that game while it was on?
Most of it, yeah.
Did you think Cuse was going to do it for the most of the game, or at any
even
point?
Even though they went up 21-7.
Yeah. Did you think they were going to do it?
It's the same game. They've only ended up beating them. They beat them once or twice prior to this.
They
just
beat
the
them
one time
when they beat them in 2016
with Kelly Bryant.
With
Kelly Bryant.
Yeah. No, 2016 was when they.
No, that was when Pitt beat Clemson.
2017.
Yeah.
They beat him at home.
But that was the only time they beat him. Other time, like Chase Bryce brought him back the 1 year.
It was so close. It was very close.
There was another close one after that. And then there was a weird BC game, which is kind of similar to Syracuse. They have these weird games, and they pull out almost all of them except for that Syracuse game, because Syracuse in 2017 did not have the good year. That was 2018 they had the good year, record-wise at least. So it's weird, but they're pretty much on easy street. They obviously play the Irish after their bye week, but in terms of the ACC, they're pretty much on easy street the rest of the way in. So I guess good for them getting through that gauntlet. Although it was improved, I think, there was no NC State's season's going to look weird in the rear view because Devin Leary's out. But, I think Florida State's all right. I think, and I emphasize all right. Florida State's all right. Woke's pretty good.
Clemson's in, right? Clemson's got to be in.
To the playoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even if they lose to Notre Dame, and if they still go 12-1, I think they'd be in.
Yeah. Notre Dame,
or Scar, or if they lost to Scar, that'd be funny.
That'd be the first time in
ranked Scar.
Would that be the first time in 9 years since Spurrier in 2013 they won?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time they beat them.
Oh, didn't they run it up on them on a good Clemson team that year? It was like a Clemson team that beat Ohio State in the Orange Bowl, but they got.
Oh, really? That was one of their losses. Yeah,
I think they got robbed by Spurrier.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen this year, but who knows?
What do you make on that note? What do you make of Beamer?
Yeah, it's a continuation. It's a build on what he did last year. Even
you didn't think he could top last year. You thought he's got to regress to the mean, but
we certainly. I don't know if any when we were picking the SEC East, they didn't come up very often in conversation there. So yeah, it's impressive, I guess, to get to the record that they're at. And I just always like giving credit, probably the bare minimum credit to that point. But I think, they got an opportunity now with a couple of guppies to get to 7-2 heading into Gainesville. So I think they play Missouri. They're short favorite against Missouri this week, and then they've got Vandy, and then they got Florida, Tennessee, and
at least a 7
Clemson.
It should at least be a 7-win season.
Yeah, I mean, if they get to 8 or 9 wins, then you're talking like they beat Florida, or they beat Clemson, or they beat. I'd be stunned if they beat Tennessee at this point. But
yeah, so basically the toss-up is Florida. Basically, it's Florida. 7 or 8 wins, right?
Yep.
Let's say blow one to Mizzou, and then let's say blow a tire to Mizzou.
And A&M on the other side of the coin, not great. Just gonna leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they can't pull the plug on him.
The jumbo.
I mean, I can't. I did take away the best play caller in America title along.
He has been stripped.
He's been stripped. I don't even know what to make of him as a coach now. I mean, obviously he did all right, but the end of Florida State wasn't good. So you start lumping that in. I guess he had a nice year in the COVID year, but it's been probably 6-7 years of largely mediocrity, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you obviously give him the benefit of the doubt. He's won a championship, but how long is he going to be living off that one, right? Before
Exactly.
someone really puts him under a microscope here. I the same way I never really loved Tennessee or liked for that matter. That's similar with Texas A&M. I think there's not even new money because they didn't get the money yet. Tennessee's not new money, but any of these fan bases that are they think they have a rightful spot somewhere.
I think they just know that they're a turnkey. I think that's what it is.
They're what?
They're a turnkey program.
Mm.
Whereas if it takes, as I mentioned with Pitt, takes 10 years really to truly raise their profile. It should only take them a couple of years.
Right.
Because we've seen it with so many other teams coming to get turned around.
Yeah, I've seen it with who are they? So they probably compare themselves to
Alabama. Right? Alabama is the all-time. I mean, it's like overnight they changed. Yeah. Alabama.
Yeah, so 07 and then into 08.
Yeah.
But the thing with Alabama is they've always had the support. And they have the tradition. The Texas A&M doesn't have the tradition, I would say, that Alabama has, but and the fertile recruiting ground. The thing with A&M, I think the one that they probably want to liken themselves to is Texas A&M, right? Well, if Texas A&M can do it, why can't we?
Right.
And it's for one, I think Jimbo is definitely lost a step coaching wise, but two, Dabo for as much as we make fun of him for his stuff, people buy in. People really do buy in. I don't think it is all. There's the Church of Dabo and those donations that make it around those church pews that make it to players' families. Yeah, I know there's that, but I think the families and the players genuinely do believe in, and there's a culture there. Whereas Texas A&M, the culture is new money, oil money. Obviously, they've got the money, but I don't think there's to go back to somebody that was talking about culture, the Stoops before that South Carolina game, talk about culture. That is true for South Carolina's main rivals, Clemson, and Texas A&M does not have that. What else do we have?
Stoops another example though, going to Oklahoma all those years back.
Yeah, they did turn it around. It did take a year or two, I think, for them to finally.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. 2 or 3 years versus 10. Like there's no doubting that, and even then, like what would Northwestern have to do? Like they can't do it over. It has to literally be an near impossible task of 10 straight years.
Well, the thing is, I think Texas A&M is closer to a. I don't know what to do. They're in a harder league, but Michigan State made it to a playoff once, right?
That's the thing. You can't say anybody's off the table in the Power Five. Maybe Vandy, is probably off the table. No, even Northwestern, it's like, the West is kind of ass.
So there's at least one more year of the West. There's at least one more year of the West.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, exactly.
But when Michigan State makes it, there's no reason why.
Or Cincinnati made it. Like, think about that. Cincinnati legitimately made the playoff.
But Penn State.
Was it because Pitt lost to Western Michigan? We'll never know. But
Pitt anyway, with their hand in history.
Oh my gosh, they cleared the way a couple of times.
They pushed the pillars. They pushed the pillar. They pushed their own pillar.
Exactly.
They tripped over and knocked over a pillar.
Exactly. So, but yeah, that's why I don't think almost every fan base should not count themselves out for any 1 year. It's just a lot of patience required for a lot of programs. Yeah. So anyway, we're almost we are 20 minutes.
We're 20 minutes in. We're still, for those that don't know, for those obviously you're tuned in and you see two here instead of the triumvirate.
We're filibustering until AY's off his poker.
We're filibustering a little bit for AY to jump on here, but
he's not going to have a couple
more games. We still have a couple more games here. The slate this week isn't that good. We could probably breeze through the slate whenever we get to predictions. But UCLA, Oregon. What'd you think of Chip's return? It was his second return, I believe.
Yeah, I was wrong. Eating crow there, landing with the very gutsy onside kick call after going up 17-10, I believe.
Good situational football. Good situational football.
changing the whole complexion of the game. It was well on its way to being a pinball game, and then they said, okay, well, we're going to take it again. We're going to hold it for a little bit, and then we're going to go up 2 scores. And then what are you going to do? Then
And not
Chip, the
only
rain
that,
starts coming down. The rain starts coming
He did it
down.
before the rain. He wanted one more before the rain. Exactly.
And then Chip gets a field goal, and then they go down again. And it's, it's kind of back and forth, but that was certainly a big game changer for the Ducks. So good job. Puddles rolling right along. Anything before that in terms of the rankings?
That Franklin receiver is very nice. Bo, I mean, how bad is it at Auburn when you turn around and look at what Bo has been doing?
It's puzzling still.
Because his first 2 years or first year was under Malzahn.
Yep.
And he was all right. Obviously regressed. Was the first 2 years under Malzahn, 1 year under Harston, and then 1 year out there, right?
Correct.
He's having a great flourish to end his career. Congrats to him. Hopefully he can keep it rolling out there. And where do you sit on Oregon if they do make it through and win 12 straight games? They'd have beaten a USC team that's ranked pretty highly. They'd have probably beaten at least USC again, or a relatively highly ranked Utah or somebody like that, right? Would you, with that enormous blemish to start the year?
You can't lose by 46 to a team. That would be my policy. If you're asking me what I thought, if the Big 12 cannibalizes itself, if Klemp does somehow slip up twice, I would say. So I don't think you can put them in over a one-loss Klemp.
So you're saying a one-loss Klemp is in over Oregon, reeling off 12 straight and having
even if they had lost to the number 1 seed, yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't count out USC. I wouldn't count out USC yet. They still have to play my Huskies.
Yes.
Who barely pulled it out against Cal over in the deep recesses of the evening on Saturday.
I found out that not that I found out. I knew that he was there, but I've forgotten. But not friend of the pod, but coworker of the pod. His nephew is the leading receiver out of Cal. Freshman, very nice. Had 2 touchdowns this past week.
Good job.
Yes.
Needed him more against Colorado.
Need a little more output against Colorado. Dead bounce Darrell getting over the 0.5 wager over under.
Ohio State killed Iowa. Iowa's defense scored more than its offense. We already talked about Syracuse.
Do we need to spend any time on the Iowa offense?
Nope.
Is it the worst one in 20 in this millennium?
Probably not, but close. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe one of those Duke teams was worse.
Maybe one of the Duke teams, maybe a Gers
team.
Roof. A Gers team could be bad. There could have been a bad Gers in there. But Gers
did he go 0-12 one year?
I think he may have in like 03 or 04.
Like those offenses are worse than this Iowa. But it's bad. Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you think is it the worst since 2010?
I mean, I still think there's probably somebody worse in there, but it's bad.
Okay. It's bad.
I would go. Can I go talk about my pokes? And I heard this multiple times.
Yeah.
14 penalties to 0.
Both the games, the 2 big games in the Big 12, they were putting some nice ones last year.
You were asking me on Sunday how it happened. You still weren't sure how it happened. Right. They pulled it out, and then I didn't realize this watching it intermittently because there was also the LSU Ole Miss game, and then there was also the Oregon UCLA game that I was flipping between, and it's a slow flip because I'm on a streaming apparatus, not a traditional cable flipper. So it was the 14 penalties to 0 penalties, which is insane. That's
Sark,
how you.
What are you doing, Sark? What are you doing?
Yeah, refs also. What are you doing? Good job them though. They got another test against your Cats, which I guess talk about those now. Is the Big
12 the most interesting conference?
Yeah, that's for sure. I
Who's
think,
the bottom of the conference is Iowa. Iowa State is Campbell, right?
yeah, who's lost,
And
almost every game by 3 points.
exactly, and they're favored. No, not favored. They're a toss-up.
It's
against
close
Oklahoma.
against Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah, I did take Oklahoma money line in
Yeah. West Virginia is decent this
we thought
weekend,
they turned the
notwithstanding.
corner. We thought they might have been secretly okay
I think they're still okay.
pulling
It's
it out
just
against Baylor, but
on the
yeah,
road, not so much.
I mean that team at home is a whole nother buzzsaw, right?
Yeah. Taking out Texas there now, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati hanging around. I'll just give it 30 seconds on them, not even 30 seconds. I don't really know who's going to win the American because my lock was UCF. They got hammered by Anus.
But they have they've got an opportunity this weekend.
I know. I just feel really weird about the American this year. Houston was the toast of the offseason, and they're not good. I don't know that they're bad either. They're definitely not good.
I think they're the only team, or they've gone down by double digits in every game. I think, right?
Houston.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe it. Maybe not this game. This last game against Navy.
No, maybe not. Maybe going into this game they did. They had.
Yeah. Tulane going to remain the polls.
The Cats. Did you talk about the Cats and Duggan pulling it out? 20.
I was about to, but then we went into the Big 12 as a whole. But yeah, blowing it, squandering a 28-10 lead.
And most of it built with the backup though, with Howard.
Right, lead entirely built by the backup because A Magic only threw like 2 passes.
Yeah, I think it's out after the first drive.
And then Will Howard got hurt.
Still favored. I think they're still favored. Oh no.
So one of those guys is clearly playing, and this Jake Rubley came in and did absolutely nothing for your Cats. It was disappointing.
Yeah. They are.
I'm sick of this TCU team. I declared it. I hope they lose. I don't know. I can hope they lose to West Virginia.
Not this weekend. You can't.
But I don't. I've had it with them. This is a crazy run where you have just weirdness all going in your favor, like really crazy weirdness.
Largely just quarterback voodoo.
Yep.
You dodged even a hot backup quarterback. Not only did you knock one quarterback out, but then there's another one that's doing well and you knocked him out.
Exactly. Kansas, we're hoping that they get to a bowl still.
Hopefully they'll seal the deal.
Because they have.
Let me get up. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to look at the schedule. I don't know, man. They're home for Oklahoma State in 2 weeks after their bye. At Texas Tech, home for Texas at K-State. I don't know if they're getting there. I think this could be the 5-0 to 5-7.
No,
wasn't that Mangino's?
ARP. Got to get it on ARP.
That was the Mangino's last year.
APR.
I don't know that they're going to do it. I hope they do, but
yeah.
Sheesh. What were you going to say about Virginia?
You heard the Georgia Tech quarterback's quote, right? The backup quarterback's quote. I lost you. You're back. I think you're back a little bit.
I'm back. Yeah, we some laggage.
Some laggage. Did you see the backup quarterback at Georgia Tech's quote after his terrible game?
Yes. Please read it for the audience, though.
I'm pulling it up now. Oh, it's so good.
Which was such a pathetic performance. I don't know what Collins was doing with this roster construction. Because as was pointed out, and I
luckily he doesn't need to answer that question.
How do you have exactly. How do you have a quarterback like Jeff Sims for all these years and then not have a backup that is remotely close to the style of quarterback he is?
What was the quarterback's name? I can't even find him.
Wasn't it? It's something generic, I feel like. Let me go back and see here.
AY's ready.
AY's ready.
He's ready.
He's in. How'd you do?
Hello, everyone.
She bounced you. Frozen. We all back now?
I'm here.
How'd you do, AY? Uh-oh, can't hear him.
This is Zach Gibson.
Zach Gibson. What did he say?
I'm reading the quote now. As he running out of bounds. For those that did not see, he was attempting a
attemptable Hail Mary. I think they were on the 30 or 40
on their own 30 or 40.
Yeah.
And then as he was scrambling, just decided to run out of bounds. And he says, I didn't feel like there was anybody to get it to in that moment. I can't throw the ball 85 yards, 70 yards. So, I mean, at that point, I just felt like run out of bounds and take the loss. Honest answer.
What a competitor.
AY's left again.
Yeah, he's going to have to rejoin because it said his microphone wasn't connected.
That is an issue. We need him with the microphone.
Yeah.
Anything else as we are heading into this week now? You think AY will want to talk over his nice victory and non-coverage over UNLV?
And they didn't even have Blumstein playing.
No.
As I said, I think it was like the 2017 World
We
Series.
We did not talk about his former coach. We did not talk about his former coach against Blaine.
Yeah, we did gloss over that. I briefly mentioned it because I said I was flipping it, but yeah, the 14-3 lead after the first quarter. I think it was 14-0 for the Lane Train.
14-3,
like a puff of smoke. 14-3 it was. They got the field goal.
Yeah.
It was 17-3 now I'm seeing. Wow. Yeah, and then Kelly just
turned it on. James Daniels played well. These guys, I forget which podcast I was listening to. They're talking about, could this be Brian Kelly's best quarterback since Tony Pike?
So let's go through it. He had Dane Christ.
Everett Golson.
Dane Christ was his first quarterback. He had Everett Golson. He had Tom Reese. He had probably Kaiser.
Kaiser
Soze was probably
Zaira. He had the Zaira.
Definitely better than Zaira. And then he had
Ian Book.
Yeah. I'd like Kaiser. I think I'd probably say Kaiser's a little bit better than, but point taken for sure.
Yes. Very interesting to think about.
To say he's best is Tony Pike. He's probably the best he's ever had because Tony Pike, in my opinion,
was the best.
No, I think he's overrated. He was overrated. Yeah.
Okay.
He had some really miserable games.
What about Caleres?
Yeah, Caleres is good.
A couple of these interesting blowouts. Liberty smacking Kalani. Absolutely smacking Kalani after barely sneaking it out against Gardner Webb. Comes around and look at them; they're 7-1 now, or something like that. Or 8.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, Liberty is 7-1.
They tops in the Independence Conference.
Something like that. Yes,
they are 7-1. You're right.
Yeah. Look at these wins, though. The 41-14 win over BYU, 21-20 over Gardner Webb the week before that. They let UMass score 24 points. They won by 2 touchdowns against Old Dominion. They beat Akron 21-12. They literally do not get up for these ass teams.
Are they a playoff team?
It could be a playoff team.
Only one loss. We'll see how they do against Pittman.
I forgot about this. I didn't even realize this first game. They played 4 overtimes against Southern Miss and won 29-27 in the first game of the year.
Phenomenal.
This is quite the schedule. They play up. They obviously play up because they almost beat Wake, right? Wake beat them by 1.
Yep.
And they killed Kalani. But
Malik Willis, Ewing theory.
And then what else was another? Oh yeah, it didn't look like a blowout, but the Lenhard put it on Boiler Up. Like I think they got out like 28-0 or something like that.
Yep. One of the things that's very annoying to me this year, Wisconsin all of a sudden a knuckleball team after being the most reliable, just 2 maybe 3 tiers of solid, the pet rock of good football teams, I would always say. It just now it's feast or famine. You don't know which team's showing.
You don't know. Who do they have? They have an interesting game coming up, I think, right? Let me see.
I don't know. We might have to. Here he comes. He's coming back.
He's back in. Oh, they
His
have the
new headphones
Maryland.
on. New headphones on.
He's in.
I switched to the pad.
Oh.
Bad.
And
They
I
do
don't
have an interesting game coming.
I don't have a jack for this, so I had to go with the wireless.
Dan, what do you
Well,
think
we
of this? Maryland is traveling to Wisconsin on November 5th. That is an interesting game.
We'll get to that.
Interesting to some. I can't say I'm one of them.
I want Maryland to be ranked when they come to Happy Valley. If
Cam
Maryland
loves
is coming in with two losses, ooh, a ranked
That'd be
game, Happy Valley should be good.
That'd be
Anyway,
good.
you were right on time. We just finished the recap.
We're in the 36th minute of the podcast, and we're finishing the recap.
I did talk for 5 minutes about my last game I watched at Rutgers,
We tried to figure out.
Against
We tried to back engineer when Can was last at a Rutgers game involving anyone.
Anyway, that's true.
All right.
So, yeah, we're ready to get into it. Thanks everyone for enduring this filibuster.
No Don Plays though. I wish Don Plays was here.
Don would be out long ago. He likes when we get to our picks. He
Yeah.
can't wait He can't wait like 3 minutes to get to a game, let alone 36 minutes.
All right. Shall we dive in, AY? Anything? How are you? How's everything going with you? You're good?
Good.
Did you win?
Yeah.
Did you get bounced? He bounced her. Good rock
He-
fight.
Knocked the
Yeah,
first
it was,
lady of the poker realm.
Rather methodical, patient. It was like a full court press, just constant pressure.
West
And
Virginia.
We broke.
West Virginia.
We broke through.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. Congrats. Very nice.
Thank you.
All right,
on to
let's
the next
do this.
round.
On to the next round. This week's slate, not the best, but you know what we say about that? Something interesting
Yep.
might happen. It might happen, maybe it won't. We don't know.
We don't know.
I think something interesting hopefully might happen in central Pennsylvania.
We are all aware of that, and it would be amazing.
Whoa.
I would hope.
All right, we'll get to that. TCU, West Virginia, in Morgantown, catching 7.5. Look, TCU,
Damn.
we said it last week.
They're done.
They're emotionally. This is how with App State.
The horseshoe in their colon is so freaking large.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't even need to get into how much I like TCU, how good the game was last week against K-State. West Virginia, not great, but they definitely cover here. There's no doubt.
And they're at home. JT Daniels pretty good. Yeah, I'm going W as well. And we'll not take him outright.
I'm going 36-28 Horned Frogs.
Oh, whoa!
I can't. I've been contemplating this most of the day. I was like, I can't give West Virginia the satisfaction of. Although, is it a
You
good
can't
thing
give
if
him
Neil
the satisfaction
Brown?
of covering?
I don't want to use my hedging P on this one. We'll just say that.
No hedge peage on this. All right, this is a
Yeah.
pretty big hedge.
I've
P
got a
as well.
couple other ones later in the to hedge P on.
This one's something I took earlier in the week with a somewhat bad number, but I did end up bailing out of that and got an Oklahoma money line, so I will be taking the Sooners here. Iowa State, we touched on them maybe 10 or so minutes ago. Only team in the Big 12 without a win, but every one of their losses is by like 2 points, 1 point, 3 points. Incredibly interesting team. They're almost favored in this game. It's basically a toss-up. We're picking it at +1.5. I think Oklahoma wins by 6. I'll go 27-21.
Finally, they break through Iowa State 20-19.
I hope not.
I wouldn't watch this game. I wouldn't watch this game.
I don't know if you guys can see.
See Chelsea.
Someone made it in the background. Little Bert.
The Bert.
Bert's first appearance of the
we-
year.
We don't have Bert on the slate here. Interesting.
No Bird on the slate. I think he's got a bye.
No, they play
Oh, yeah,
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Oh, that's right.
We-
Somebody's going to lock him up.
We
I
might
was
get to that.
contemplating it.
I'm gonna go with Dan here. Just again, a month ago when I finally kind of got Oklahoma, they've done nothing but disappoint since. So give me Campbell
Not
here.
good.
Cocktails, they'll be flowing in Jacksonville, Florida, or Georgia. 22
Florida,
and a
Georgia
half,
line.
a lot. That's
It
just
is
a
a
lot
lot.
of
I'm
points.
taking the points. I'm taking
I'm
them.
taking points too.
I'm taking
Make
them.
it all three of us.
Astigmatism R15. I'll take him.
He does get up for these bigger games. Yeah, I think he'll keep him in it. You know, there'll be a costly interception down late.
Remember how weird that game was last year? Weren't they up?
Uh,
Weren't they up in the second quarter and then Georgia just had – did they score – Georgia score 14 or 21
like-
points? And
It was like 21 the end of the second quarter. Yeah,
yeah, it was wild.
They were up. They were up.
Yeah.
late
They had
second.
like two
Yeah.
pick sixes in a row or something like that, didn't they?
Yep. Yeah,
Nakobe
it was
Dean
some
definitely
late
had
half
one.
cards.
Yeah.
I'll
And
say
then
they keep it
Gary
keep it on the rails.
Gary was like, "Oh, this is what this team will do to you. This is what this team can do to you. They can turn you over in a hurry."
Gary.
Like, thank you.
Yeah,
Gary.
31-13. I would actually bet that score if you can.
This is the interesting one, probably indicating a Magic or Howard is playing, but they are still favored over number 9, top 10 Oklahoma State, coming off a very nice win. This is how interesting the Big 12 is, right?
That it is.
Where are you guys thinking? What you guys feeling about this one?
Well, I got to ride the poke, so I'll get that out of the way. It should just come as a surprise to nobody. They're my last ball in the bag. I tried to semi-adopt Lane last week, and that crashed and burned in the second half. So I'll keep riding my one team that I've been somewhat right on in the preseason.
One true team.
One true team. Well, the Jints are my one true team this year.
Oh, they are your team.
I
They're your
got to order the
babies.
Jints. I forgot to order
They
the
are your
Jints.
babies.
Yes, they are. But no, in college, yeah, I'll keep riding the Pokes. They figured out. Maybe they get 14 penalties to 0. We talked about that, AYs, how they defeated Texas. And I had no idea that the penalties were 14 to 0 until I heard it 3 different times this week.
They did. Yeah, they mentioned it on the broadcast, I believe. I watched the fourth quarter of that on the drive home from Goat Checks.
The
They had
one
past
highlight I
the
forgot
drive.
to bring up was the Weber State long snapper that snapped the ball into the over the head 3 times.
That poor guy.
Yeah, that's the
That
story
is
of
the
the weekend,
Weber
unfortunately
State
for him.
that won 35-7 against Utah State, right?
I guess. I mean, there's not many Weber States out there.
We lost Dan. Hey, where are you going on this one?
I'm going with K-State. I feel like we've been saying this every week with Okie State, how every game is within a 4-point spread either way. And Gundy does typically win these games. Last week they escaped. I was just looking up trying to find Jason Taylor, the safety for Okie State. He had that big pick on you. It was late, and it looked like
He got hurt.
the way he landed. I thought
Yeah,
it
he
could've
like
been-
hurt his knee. Is like hurt his knee.
I don't know. I didn't see it zoomed in. I don't know if it maybe twisted a little bit. If it twisted, then that would definitely be an ACL, or if it just buckled on him and he was out. But either way, I tried to find it. Nothing. If he's out, that's not good. He is very good back there. I'm gonna go with Kleiman here. What he's done with Martinez and Little Deuce. I like it. Fought hard last week, but came up a little short. So give me the Cats and what I can assure you will be a one-score game.
I see Kansas State football players have utmost confidence in backup QB Will Howard.
Yeah,
So maybe no A Magic.
Maybe no A Magic.
I missed him get hurt last week. I missed a play. I think there's
Nobody
one
knows
play,
what
and all of a
happened.
sudden-
Nobody
and then all
knows
of a
what
sudden
happened.
Howard's in. He throws a nice dart down sideline. His offense kept going. So
Yep.
Kleiman said he didn't do anything yesterday.
Oh,
I don't know if he will be available. That's what Kleiman said today, I think.
Interesting.
Playing
All right.
possum. I am also gonna go with my Cats.
Okay.
Rare. Cincy, UCF.
I was way.
This line that stinks.
Yeah.
Gross.
Well, we see what we have here in front of us, so
Bounce back
Don't-
UCF.
don't even need to think about it. I will take the Golden Knights.
Yeah, I have to too. I mean, they were so bad against ECU from what I saw. The little that I saw, it was a phone. Flip it on to see what the hell's going on. How are they down 17-3? How are they down 33-13 or whatever the hell it was to Holton Anis last week? But yeah, the angle. I guessed wrong last week. Might as well not try again this week.
UCF, what they did last week, and then they looked gross against SMU as well for like the first quarter and a half. They're
Yep.
prone to these gross, just bad football stretches. And they lost to the Ville.
Yep.
I can't back them there. I can't back them even in a bounce back spot. I will take Fickle.
All right.
I'll take Fickle money line here.
Fickle. Stepping out on a limb.
Yes.
I don't even want to talk about this game. I put it on there though.
Can they get to 11 points is the question.
I'm taking Northwestern.
Ah!
Without a doubt. Who in their right mind is going to lay 11 with Iowa?
I think the line, the over-under opened at 35.5.
Too high.
It's up to 37.
Too much higher.
I will take Iowa not to cover. I'll take them to win. I'll take them to win 17-13.
Oh man, I got 13-12.
13-12.
Iowa.
All on Fitz. I don't know if they can get to 11 points is the issue.
The defense might.
Oh, true.
I cannot stand them so much. So Kentucky, Tennessee, good one here. Knoxville. Just don't look ahead. Focus on this week.
You're taking Stoops here, aren't you?
Oh yeah, Tennessee's they're getting a little too much love from me, and I think if it was any other team, Roth would say the same. But I think he's just so intoxicated by this orange Rocky Top train right now. He can't even see it, and he's usually all over this stuff. So I'll let him know in the coming days that, hey, this is exactly the things that you point out are intoxicating to people that don't realize it, and you're falling for the trap. So give me Levis and Co. Don't say this too loud, but you might want to sprinkle that money line.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're going to get him all riled up on Saturday. This is a night game too. He's going to be freaking tuned.
He's already pissed about the uniforms, he said. The dark mode uniforms.
The dark mode uniform.
They're sick. Yeah. He was locked into the mock playoff show last night, thinking he thought it was legit. He wanted to be number 2. He was duped.
As he admitted. Oh my gosh. I got the hedging P as well here. I think they pull it out. Maybe they have to even come from behind. This game was nuts last year.
Mm-hmm.
Was this the game? No, was it Ole Miss? It was Ole Miss, Tennessee.
The trash was thrown on the field.
Yeah, that was the really crazy game. But
this game was Bockers also though. They went.
And that golf ball.
And I'm keeping receipts on this bad karma, as I've already relayed, for the Tennessee's generating between suspending the player who was arrested for assault, right?
Oh, he
week
ended up.
after.
He ended up. No, he did end up getting suspended for the Bama game.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did. He was out for the Bama game.
Oh, okay.
We showed him in the Bama game.
Well, that's off their ledger then, but also the GoFundMe for the goalposts.
That was gross.
They threw a Hail Mary against UT Martin up 40 points at the end of the game.
Gross.
Stuff like that.
They got their goalpost listed on Google Maps now in the water.
Yep.
I was dying. My favorite. There were so many good Bama conspiracy theories. My favorite one was we need to get those goalposts fished out of the water so we can measure it, because I don't think they're regulation width.
Oh my goodness.
But yes, last year Kentucky, that game was crazy. 45-42 was the final. Tennessee won last year. I don't think Kentucky can get to 42 points this year, but I think this game should be relatively fun. Obviously, Kentucky is scrappy. This will probably be their game of the year, right?
Yeah.
The battle for the bourbons, Tennessee whiskey against Kentucky bourbon. I am very interested, but I'm also going to go with AY here and take Kentucky to cover. I think maybe Tennessee wins by like 10. But I think Kentucky will play them very tight, very, very strongly. A scrap.
Okay.
All right, on to Holy Try.
Yeah, what'd you take?
I took Kentucky to cover.
So all on Kentucky.
All on
Yep,
Stoops.
we've got three consensus. Wow. Interesting.
Almost all SEC. 2/3 of it is SEC.
Yeah.
Seeing the ball. All right,
we didn't recap your game, AY.
That's all right. It's not great. Just only thing was
You didn't cover.
no. Michael Mayer was probably the only thing I really want to talk about. He was awesome again.
That's good.
That's good, yeah. So moving on to this week, Notre Dame Syracuse. You just mentioned the Syracuse game against Clemson. I'm sure. That was an odd game. Fake score. Just bad QB play against good turnover of luck and a 90-yard fumble return. And it was just one of those close games that wasn't played very well. Syracuse here at home, the Nooner. Whatever, in the old Carrier Dome. Tucker, talking on social media about his stats, bunk or not bunk, pumping himself up. This is going to be just a game of running the ball. Pine was a little better last week. We'll see how he is this week, but I think Notre Dame should be able to just run the ball. Look at the metrics. The O-line has come a long way since week one. The rushing success rate is up over 50%, which is very encouraging. Now if they can just hold on to the ball, Audric Estime. I think Diggs could be the bell cow this week. We'll see. I don't mind that as long as he's running hard. And then Mayer, obviously the safety valve. And the Notre Dame defense, well, also on offense. Notre Dame's going to run the ball. With the offensive line, Diggs and rushing attack. And Syracuse is 3-3-5. They give rushing yards. And they stick to that 3-3-5. They might bring the safeties down, but still, with 3 down linemen, I think Notre Dame can push them around. Defensively, Syracuse can run the ball. Both quarterbacks aren't good. I think Notre Dame's defense is much better. Even though they do lapses, it's so frustrating. But this team's not great. We know that. They're 4-3. Lost to Stanford at home. Jeez. Marshall, whatever. So, throwing that onto a ball. I mentioned last week I had that free bet on VCU and Max Verstappen. Hit that, rolled it over to Verstappen to win in Austin last week at the U.S. Grand Prix. Did so. A nice comeback. Beat Hamilton. So that's rolled over again, and I just rolled it over again today on Notre Dame money line. I think they win this game. So, yeah, give me Notre Dame. It was plus 110. So I'll take Notre Dame. Nothing crazy here. I think it'll be close, but we'll go 24-20. 27, 23. I don't think Notre Dame's offense really does much, but they run it enough. No thanks to Pine. Who will be better?
Nice ranked victory. You're thinking nice ranked victory this week.
Yeah, and the line is Syracuse -3, but the Desert opened it Notre Dame favored. They were more than willing, more than happy to take money on Syracuse all week. I like that.
Noteworthy. I'll go with the Irish as well. I think I picked them every year, or every week, not every year.
I'm on the
we'll
Irish.
just continue that trend.
We're all on the Irish. I think this is better than, we do not believe in Cuse as a paper bag. So,
No, we do not believe in Cuse.
yep.
Continue the march to turn the orange into pumpkins. Hopefully next week as well. Another Holy Tri team will be playing host to the orange.
Ooh. All right, here we go.
Here we go. Game
This
of the
is
week.
it? Oh, my gosh. We didn't even pick the game day game. Down in Jackson State.
Jackson State and Southern, correct?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. We didn't even get to pick that one.
See if we can get a line on that game while you're.
Those two teams could be fighting out for the basketball title as well. Edge to Southern.
Aha.
As I say that, then I'll let you and Rothman tomorrow. But tomorrow, slow draft commences.
Oh boy.
How are my doubts looking this year?
Are the keepers how Cam wants to report
How
on
are
the
my
Delts.
doubts looking this year?
You're who?
My doubts.
Delta Devils.
Not great, but not. This will be their best year. This will be their best year in years.
Don't tell me that. You're gonna get me excited.
I got a note from Cimarelli. He said there's been 3 teams kept every year by the same, all 7 years, and the 2 of them are one guy. And for me, it's Grand Canyon, year 7. Go Lopes out west.
The
I'm
Lopes.
thinking they win the WAC. So
Is
we'll
this
get
the
a line
long?
of that.
Is this the longest or game that you've been playing with them, or have you been playing even longer?
I think
with
baseball's been 8 years. I think.
Yeah.
The slow draft year we're in year 7. So we'll get a line on this football game this week. I'll be firing up AYT shortly, but enough pedaling around, Can. Time
This is
to
it. This is what everybody's here for, right?
face the music. Don't forget, I know it's going to be in your mind, Notre Dame only lost them by 11 in the horseshoe, so this is, transitive Holy Tri here.
Implications.
Deficits here. I go back and forth on if this is going to happen. Like way too many. I brought it up after the Michigan game, right? That Penn State is built and with the sole purpose and intent of competing with this Ohio State juggernaut, right? The biggest and baddest bully on the block, maybe to the detriment of some of their, or so it would seem to the detriment of some of their matchups against other teams in the conference, because they're so solely and dedicatedly focused on that team in Columbus. This team is humming along like quite a few other Ohio State teams that we've seen in the past couple of years. Stroud is doing great things. Marvin Harrison is amazing. They're doing all this without Jackson Smith and Jigma. Fleming has come on a little bit, and Buka is pretty good. He's been good, number 2. They have no shortage of great playmakers out wide, but I would venture to put Penn State's secondary in the top 5 in the country. I think they've had a fantastic year, and like I said, this team is built around being able to compete and defend against a team like this. And you go back throughout history, basically. Well, not history. James Franklin's history, at the very least. Penn State comes out and competes with Ohio State. Unlike any other, he prepares his team to play Ohio State better than anybody else, whether that be Ohio State overlooking them and focusing more on like at Michigan, that's where they're putting all their eggs into. But this is where Penn State puts all their eggs in every year, right? And they've covered a lot of the time. The line is huge. I get it. I don't think it's badly set. Where I do worry, though, is not necessarily on the defensive side because, sure, Stroud will get his, but I do think Penn State will get a few plays here and there as well. And they're going to score points. You have to be able to not outscore. Obviously, in any game, I don't think I'm breaking any news. Saying you have to be able to outscore the opponent to win the game. That is something you have to be able to do. But you're going to have to be able to get in there and score some points. Otherwise, you're going to be blown up. I don't think they're going to go for 54 like they did last week against Iowa. But I do think they'll be able to get theirs probably to tune of like 31 to 35 points. So the question becomes, how many points can Clifford and Yurcich scheme up here? Because they went out and schemed against a Michigan team, and they couldn't do shit, right? They couldn't run the ball, couldn't throw the ball. I mentioned it before, 43%, something like that. There's some gross booing going on in Beaver Stadium, even before he threw a single pass. That's going to be the question. I do think Ohio State's defense. What did you think of it when you guys played them, AY? Did you think they were gettable? Obviously, you didn't score that much, but do you think it was a product of, the type of offense Notre Dame runs, a little more conservative with a new quarterback?
Going into the game, I thought higher of Ohio State's defense than consensus, and I think I was lower on Notre Dame's offense than consensus. So it kind of went worse from Notre Dame's perspective as I expected, but I did think Ohio State's defense was going to be definitely better this year. Yep. And looking at the numbers, they have got a lot better. That being said, the offenses they played efficiency wise aren't great. Have not played anyone good. Yeah. You look at comparatively, Michigan State's the closest to Penn State efficiency wise, both around 40-ish. And they absolutely squashed Michigan State. Michigan State scored 21. They had 7 on offense, a defensive touchdown, and a touchdown in the last 2 minutes. So they didn't do anything. That being said, I'm not comparing Michigan State's offense, Penn State's is better. It's a long way of saying I think Ohio State's defense is pretty good.
I think they're also much improved with Knowles. He does a number of interesting things. I know he comes out and mixes it up, and he's gone up against Yurcich, I think, at least a little bit, right, from his days in Oklahoma State. I think they overlapped, from what I understand. Maybe they didn't. But either way, I like what Yurcich came out with and game planned. He did a great job coming out, and they were off balance. Obviously, the defense wasn't now that good last year at Ohio State, but he came out and had a good plan. I'm relatively hopeful that they can get some stuff. It looked like it took a little more shots on the field against Minnesota. They gave the receivers a chance to go up and make some plays. Obviously, that Parker had a very nice touchdown catch. And then you saw some of the holes that were able to be opened up against Minnesota that you haven't seen in a couple weeks for the running backs. Long way of saying Penn State needs to get a defensive score here, I think, because I don't think the offense is good enough to get more than like 17 points if they want to go, right? I don't know that they do get that defensive score, but I don't know that it matters, right? So I'm going to take Ohio State to win here. I think Penn State will have a pretty good defensive game. I want to take Ohio State to win here 31-17, and I'll take Penn State to cover. I do think it'll be relatively lower scoring than people are expecting. I think Penn State's defense will be hyped up for the challenge, and I think they'll play pretty well in that secondary. They'll make a couple plays here, keep them in it for a little bit. But I think probably by midway through the third quarter, they'll be relatively comfortable stiff arming. People will probably know this game's not, nothing's happening here. And Ohio State will coast to the end.
I like a little bit higher, 38-24. Nothing to add, though.
Nothing to add.
Previewed. Perfectly previewed. Rationally previewed.
Yes.
Always good. Cam, like you, I've been back and forth all week as far as too high or not enough. Then I think of one angle, then I look at the counter to that. Ohio State hasn't blown the doors off of teams, and the offense has been good, but I think when you dig deeper, it hasn't been as good as what we might think it has. And I think it's a product of the defense being even better than what most people think. But then the counter to that is, well, schedule adjusted and all that, it looks good. But you look at the actual schedule, these teams they're playing aren't great. And then it's like, oh, Penn State, Clifford was so good last week. That Minnesota team last week was like freaking South Fayette out there.
Whoa!
Unnecessary shot at my high school alma mater.
So, SF is nice, but I mean, playing against Penn State,
they're down. They've been down though.
That Minnesota quarterback last week, come on, that was a freaking joke.
How about we go from a lot of Nathans to a Tathan to an Athan?
Yeah, and now you're getting Stroud.
Kakanakis.
And I mean, you mentioned the receiving core, the two-headed running backs. Ohio State's O-line is awesome. And then if they want to, like, why can't they just run the ball down Penn State's throat? I mean, Michigan did it, and
Rutgers did it,
and Penn State knew Michigan was going to do it. Ohio State has the threat of the Heisman quarterback back there with three or four five-star receivers, and they can just run four wide and run it off tackle out of the shot all day if they wanted to. They're just. I think if Day doesn't try and get too cute, I think he can really do what he wants here, just keep Penn State off balance. That being said, it's a road game at Penn State. They always play them tough. So I'm just going to go with history here, and I'll take the points. Could it be close? Sure, it definitely could be. Do I expect it to be? I think a stiff arm is fine. I think Ohio State doesn't really care.
I think it could be tied in the second half, too.
I think just get in, get out with a win, and move on. And they have bigger fish to fry down the road. Penn State's still in this, 5-1, 6-1, a win here.
Yep.
And you're right back in the mix.
Yep.
But I'll take Ohio State, stiff arm. I'll stay with you guys. 13-14. It could be tight third quarter. Yeah.
All on BSU, all on Irish. What could go wrong here? Are we all on Pitt?
Oh no!
I'm almost done. I just think we need a big game from the Lawn Boys.
Oh, there it is.
That's what we need. That is
they looked good last. They looked good last week.
Did look nice last week. But even with the big run from Singleton, he only had like 79 yards.
I turned it off in the late second quarter. I was like, I couldn't watch minutes. I thought I was watching Iowa on offense.
Beautiful to watch. Kakanakis,
the tennis player.
Tathan, Nathan, Kaliakanos.
I don't know what it was. It wasn't great, except for the moon ball near the end of the first half. That was hilarious.
Ethan Kaliakmanis. Sorry.
There you go.
Kaliakmanis.
Yeah, I already you got to miss the riveting recap of the Pitt Louisville game from last week.
I actually did not recap Penn State Minnesota. You guys are lucky.
AY stole it.
I won't now. I was going to dive it.
I just did it for you. It was gross.
Yeah. There you go. Good win.
Good win.
Yeah, I don't think the armpit. I think it's hard to trust them. Obviously, it's a bit of a squirrely line given the records, given the way Pitt's played offensively, given the way North Carolina's played offensively. Can they just possibly keep up similar to what Cam was just talking about with Ohio State and Penn State. I would lean not, just because this is such a discombobulated operation. There was a great, I think I just sent it to Cam. I can't remember if I sent it to you. You might have been watching. You were watching live, AY. I believe you responded right away in the chat.
Yeah.
The fumble 6, the rumble 6 for Louisville. The right tackle just didn't move. The ball was snapped and he was like a delayed fuse. And then even when he started to block, it was, first of all, Slovis was about to be sacked, if not already sacked, and he was blocking inside. Like, they were just, it's stuff like that I don't know what the hell is going on. Obviously, they've been reshuffling the offensive line. I missed that last week when we were doing the preview of the game, but their left tackle rolled out for the season, so they're reshuffling everybody around every which way. I talked about it last week. The offensive line from last year making their whole grand presentation. They were all coming back. 0 combined snaps played together this year, so that plays into it. Slovis just, and I know he's one of your favorite Twitter followers, Evan Benor. He's right about the thing. Like, he plays. That guy's got no heart. It doesn't seem. It really, is not a mope. He's not fiery. He's just nothing.
Just out there. He's just
out there. Yeah, he's like a little bit of a space cadet. So it's tough, because I think, it's either reflecting your playing style, because it's not like, Kenny was out there, ranting and raving the whole time like a Baker Mayfield type, but the way he played, like, he just goes out there and wing it for better or worse. And just Slovis doesn't have any of that. And, you hate comparing the two together because of such a great season that Pickett had last year, but it's just hard to sit there and watch it. And it's just, pretty much everybody but the running backs. And obviously even the running back, like Rodney Hammond, comes back, has a few nice carries, and then fumbles inside the 30 on a Wildcat, which came out of nowhere. They busted that out for a good while in the first half, and we're moving the ball okay. I expect them to move the ball okay. It's just, can they get in the end zone 4, maybe 5 times, which is required to win this game? I can't back that, even though we saw the explosion the Irish offense had while they've struggled at other times this year. That would be the comparison point. It's a good
get-right spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's they have a chance, obviously. It's only a 3-point line. North Carolina's not this, two-way juggernaut. They're half a football team, but the one half is really good. And their offensive half is probably better than Pitt's one. Pitt's morphed into a half a football team with their defense playing pretty well most of the year. So that's where you go. And with such a tight line, I just can't pick them. Happy to be wrong. Want them to prove me wrong and give this, pipe dream of running the table down the stretch here. Or certainly, if nothing else, having a little bit of pride to back up their year from last year. But I don't see it starting Saturday night. I'd got, 35, 34, 21, 34, 24 heels, something to that effect.
It's going to be good for Grant. I think he took Pitt here.
I mean, I hope he's right. It's not a terrible spot to say, oh my gosh, they only scored 10 points against Louisville. What the hell? They got no chance scoring with North Carolina. Then they just come and run up and down on them and have like a 38-22 time possession advantage, something to that effect. That's the recipe. I just don't know if they can execute for 4 quarters. They looked all right, which is, again, pathetic, to reiterate one point from earlier, that a team scores 10 points in a game and you're anything other than disgusted. But I was like, they played all right in the first half. They just turned the ball over. And then the offense in the second half, not so great. But it's not a clean operation. That's all I can say. And until proven otherwise. Sorry. And it seems to be whenever I'm watching them, ever since I broke my streak against Rhode Island, whenever I'm watching them, it's like, what in the hell is going on here? Because I barely watched them against Virginia Tech. I was, checking the score, obviously, but that was wedding day. So, I don't know. It's tough. It stinks, that's for sure. Just kind of playing out the string, it seems.
I'm excited for this game.
Yeah.
You say you're excited?
I am excited for this game. And Ken, you said you're taking May. 8 o'clock, Pitt UNC. These teams have played fun games in the past.
True.
I'm gonna break a streak there on Pitt all year. Let's make it a clean sweep.
Yep.
I'm on Carolina here. I know. I
Wow.
usually I wear very rose-colored glasses with Pitt. I think I just last week that 10-point. I think clunker is a mean word. Just inability.
Mean
to
but
execute.
appropriate. Yeah.
Just execution just needs to be there. And again, this not a get right spot, but a get right opponent for that 10-point ineffective just execution here. Let's get going, but I think with you, just like you, Dan, I just need to see it here. We saw it with Notre Dame, how ineffective they were against Cal the week prior, and then go down to Chapel Hill and look like freaking Ohio State. So, hopefully this is the medicine the Panthers need, because this is definitely half a football team in Chapel Hill.
If that. North Carolina certainly is. Pitt, they might be half a football team. At times, we'll see. I just worry. I really fear. I don't know if I want to go as dire as making a bowl fearful, but I really fear what if the defense just kind of says screw it. What the last handful of games could look like, because I gave the comparison. Now I'm just repeating pretty much everything I said. But 2019, defense definitely led the team majority of the year. They were in the hunt. They had the awful game against Virginia Tech, and then against Boston College last game, they were just completely embarrassing. Offense couldn't do anything, and then defense just kind of said, you know what, screw this. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but wouldn't rule it out. Because I have to imagine you just look up after numerous games, you're just like, you know what the hell are we even doing here?
It's always how most teams end up at the end of.
Yeah, it's only human, and it's only human to say that.
When
you've got a defensive core that was just winning the ACC championship last year, now they're like, so what do I have to do? Bust my ass so we can play in the doggone Belk Bowl? It's like, what the hell? For this idiot head coach, I can keep going all night if you guys want.
Yeah.
Birmingham,
send them back. I wouldn't mind some Beeves armpit Sun Bowl though. That would be good.
Ooh,
that would be good.
Sick. That'd be a sick. I would try and get a T-shirt with that.
I'll get one for you.
Wear that to our next Charlotte trip.
Yep. Whatever that's going to be, who knows now. We'll see how the next cast of characters that comes in is on offense.
Ken, are you going to come next time?
It depends on if Penn State's in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Well,
it hasn't depended on that the last two times is my remember at the wedding, were you both there whenever I said that? I said it to Can. I was messing with Can. I was like, you want to see me be a college football fan? My team's made it to the conference championship 2 times since your team's made it to the conference championship. And I throw it like that's peak college football fandom right there.
That's good.
You mentioned my team's made it once too.
Since Penn State's been to the conference championship.
Yeah. Lagging behind there, Kenny.
No major obstacles either. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah.
No major. Not like they're have to get through 2 of the top 10 teams every year. Oh man. We're gonna do locks.
Wrap it up. Give the people what they want. Just gonna point it out. Someone's still just smoking hot over here.
That is AY. It's not us. That's for sure. Ken and I were recapping that before you joined at all. This is some stinkiness. How far ahead of you? You're way ahead in the locks. I feel like AY. But you got to be up in the overall standings too. We haven't had an update on that.
It's tight. I'll have to put the formulas in just to make it easier.
Yeah. I had a decent start to the year, but I've been up and down since then.
Well, it's a topic though.
And overall, not on locks.
Lock's been going well. So I think I'm just gonna. I considered two. I considered three. Maybe you'll take the Burt Nebraska one. I gave a hard look at BYU -3 over ECU.
Yep.
Things are bad there, but let's right the ship. But we're going to put it to the test. We already put our money there, so let's just put our mouth there afterwards. Notre Dame +2.5.
Oh, we like it. Candy,
+3.
you going another Holy Try lock?
Oh, we've got Notre Dame at 3.
Yeah, it was +2.5 when I bet earlier. Well, the money line, but yeah, I'll take those 3 for sure.
I'm
Candy,
not
you have yours
gonna
prepared?
lock up. I'm not locking up Ohio State. I am locking up the Wolford wagon though. I'm selling high on Ville after a nice trouncing of Pitt.
Trouncing.
And I do think Wolford is the second best team in the ACC. I don't think that's going out too far on a limb, and I like that they're only laying 3.5 here. So I think they'll win by comfortably 2 touchdowns.
All right. I am not going to Burt. I am going something else that I called out in the group chat yesterday. I am going to
No, I'm just
the Wrench.
You're not. Oh boy.
Oh boy!
Which is now called Pratt and Whitney Stadium. UConn receiving 7.5 against BC.
No!
I am laying them. I am laying them with BC. Like, have some GD pride. Have some pride, BC. I don't care who's playing for them. Hopefully Jerkovic, but I don't care. Like, you cannot be laying less than 10 to Con. You cannot.
Yep.
Have some pride. Golly.
7.5 is the line.
7.5. BC -7.5.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. My log's been so bad. I'll be happy either way with this because that might mean Con won.
I'll have you know that was if I did go like a top 5, I just named my top 3. 4 and 5, where BC was one of them, and the other one was Mizzou.
Oh yeah, against the ranked Scar.
Against Scar. That's talk about a freaking paper tiger ranked team.
That might be the all-time paper tiger ranked team. Oh man.
That's Scar. Yeah, they're gonna lose this week.
I didn't think they'd be ranked till after getting to 7-2 if they beat Mizzou and Vandy. Now they are 25. The SEC bump.
So there you have it. Wake, Notre Dame, BC. Lost this week.
3 road
Incredible.
teams.
What could go wrong?
Well, two road teams, 1 neutral site effective. I can't imagine the folks at Pratt and Whitney Stadium are going to be cranking up, but I know that's throwing stones out of a glass house for what some of these pit crowds are going to look like down the stretch. But
what's the field name at UConn? Isn't the field name the Rent something?
It should still be Rensselaer. I bet it's Pratt and Whitney at Rensselaer.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
But it was always Rensselaer, and then they got a sponsor. They sold out. Oh, did we ever answer the trivia question?
Oh, we did not.
From last week where we left. If you stayed till the end of last pod and you've stayed till the end of this pod, you more than have earned this. The 2.5 teams that have sold out, that haven't sold out, the NFL, the Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field, or is it Lambeau Field, right?
Lambeau Field.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And
the Chicago Bears, Soldier Field, and then Ford Field is Detroit, which counts as a half because Fords were the original owners, but they do some accounting chicanery with Ford Motors now, where technically the company does own the naming rights, but it only counts as a half a sellout.
That's a half.
It's a little left pocket, right pocket accounting.
They're basically they are putting their own name on the field. It's true.
It just helps them balance out the books.
Exactly.
It's like owning the car wash and having a side hustle.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Pratt and Whitney Stadium at Rensselaer Field.
What a name.
What a name indeed.
Who's Pratt and Whitney? Who are Pratt and who is a Whitney?
I have to let's look it up. Who's Acrisure?
Oh, hold on. Come back next week for the answer.
Oh yeah, there you go. Good tease.
Who is Pratt and Whitney? And what do they have to do with the rent? Who's the rent, sir?
Who's right? Exactly. Bonus.
A lot of questions. What we need to answer.
Chris Fowler trivia. All right. Take
Dying
us home.
when Versillo had Fowler on.
You didn't bring us in, but you could take us home.
When Versillo had Fowler on the other month, and he asked him a trivia question, and as soon as he asked him, he answered it right away.
He answered it out.
So Fowler couldn't answer it. Hey Chris, how many Heisman Trophy winners went to Notre Dame? 7. So funny.
Very good.
Anyways, very good Fowler, Versillo, and trivia next week. Stay tuned. Come back. We'll open with it. We won't teach that.
We'll open, yeah. We won't make people wait another hour and 25 minutes.
And I'll be back to open next week. For me, AWOL State Capital, the Blue State, the Commonwealth. I got an email the other day saying my mail-in ballot was received. Get out and vote.
Get out and vote.
We got GOTV messaging here. Get out to vote.
D-Berg to my west.
Good night, all.
And Can to my east.
We'll see you guys. Big nude Saturday.
Dual nudes on Saturday, and then night capper. Fired up.
Once
Enjoy the
again.
weekend. Have fun. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.